Stack follows LIFO rule, means last in, first out rule. And reason is insertion and deletion takes place at the same end. The number of attributes in the relation is called degree, cardinality, domain and tuple. So answer is degree. So in bus topology, the data is transmitted only in one direction, that is unidirectional. Dear students, welcome to Computer Science classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PUC College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Students, let us start our discussion with the model question paper 2025-26. So, in the next slide, let me explain the question paper pattern. Already have explained the question paper pattern in my introduction class. So let me explain once again the question paper pattern of second PUC computer science subject. Now here there are 5 parts, there are 5 sections A, B, C, D and E. A is a compulsory question, that is MCQ as well as fill in the blanks. So here in this section part A, the 15 marks for MCQ and another 5 marks for fill in the blank. Totally, part A is a compulsory questions to be attended. It is for 20 marks. Now, in part B, it is a 2-mark questions. So, there are 7 questions will be there and you are supposed to answer any 4 questions out of 7. It is for 8 marks. Part C, 3 marks questions. It is out of 7, you have to answer any 4 and it is for 12 marks. And part D, 5 marks questions. Out of 7, you have to answer any 4. It is for 20 marks. And last part, that is part E, it is a 5 marks questions. And there are 3 questions will be there. You are supposed to answer any 2. It is for 10 marks. So totally, there will be 44 questions and you are supposed to answer 34 questions and total marks is for 70. So is second PUC computer science, it is theory, you are writing theory for 70 marks and remaining 30 marks for practicals. Now let us start with the question paper, and this is the model question paper 1 from the second PUC pre-university board. So same questions will be discussing in our further slides. So this is a question paper and you can see different parts of a question paper. Part A, in part A, that is fill in the blanks, there are 5 fill in the blanks. So and they will be given, there are 6 answers. You have to select best 5 or the right 5 for this fill in the blanks. And in part B, it is part B and part B, 7 questions, 7 questions. You're supposed to answer any 4. And part D, there are 7 questions and you're supposed to answer any 4. It is 5 marks questions. Part E, again 5 marks question. You have to answer any 2 out of 3. So last question of the question paper is, the question number is 44. So there are 44 questions in this question paper. Now let us start answering these questions one by one. Now in part A, first question, that is MCQ. Here the exception raised when the requested module definition is not found. And we have learned in the chapter different types of inbuilt exceptions. So we have to select best of it. So here in this, the answer is C, that is import error. So import error is the right answer for this question 1. Now second question, the method which is used to convert Python objects for writing data in a binary file. So it is a chapter 2, that is, so for this there are options load, dump, seek and tell methods. So right answer is dump method. I mean, this is a dump method is used to convert Python objects for writing data in a binary file. Now question number 3, here this is assertion and reason type of questions. So here A is assertion, stack follows LIFO rule. Stack follows LIFO rule, means last in, first out rule. And reason is insertion and deletion takes place at the same end. So these are the two statements, assertion and reason. Now there are four options. We have to select the best of it. So A is true and or is the correct reason. A is true or is not correct the reason. A is false or is correct reason, and A is false and or is not correct reason. So if you look at these two statements, and both the statements are true with respect to stack. So in that way, so here we can rule out all the three options. So we are left with one, that is A is true and or is the correct reason. So both the statements are true with respect to stack data structure. So answer is A. A is true and or is the correct reason. Question number 4. DQ is a version of Q which allows insertion and deletion at four options: front end, rear end, both the ends, and not both the ends. Now we have learned in our theory class about the difference between DQ and Q. Q is a data structure where insertion and deletion takes place at two different ends. But with respect to DQ, that is double-ended queue, insertion and deletion can be done at both the ends. So with respect to this, answer is C, both ends. Question number 5. In bubble sort, while sorting in ascending order, which element reaches its correct position after the first pass? Means after first iteration. So the answers, options are the smallest element, the middle element, the largest element, and the second largest element. So here in bubble sort, at each and every iteration, the heaviest element or the largest element will take its position, right position. So accordingly, in the first iteration, the first highest element, the largest element will take its position, and in next iteration, the second largest element will take its right position. So answer is D, the second largest element. Question number 6. In a selection sort, the smallest element is selected in each pass and placed in its correct position. And this is reason. In selection sort, the nth element is the last and it's already in its place. So here the assertion and reasoning here. So in this one, A is true and B is false. A is false, B is true. A and B are true and A and B are false. So in this example, if you look at the statement, selection sort, the smallest element will take its position. That is, the statement is right. That is the correct statement. Look at the second statement, that is B. In selection sort, the nth element is the last. Actually, the last element in any of the list is n minus 1th element. So n minus 1 will be the last element. So this statement is wrong. So accordingly, answer is A is true and B is false. That is A. That is the answer for 6th question. Now 7th one. The number of attributes in the relation is called degree, cardinality, domain, and tuple. So answer is degree. So number of attributes or number of columns, we can say it is nothing but degree. 8th one. The most popular query language used by RDBMS is. Options are MySQL, Python, COBOL, and Java. In this example, MySQL is an example for RDBMS software, and these are all high-level languages for different application. And MySQL is a language used for RDBMS or to work with DBMS. 9th one. Which of the following is a string single row built-in functions with respect to string? Here one is length, minimum, now, and count function. So you know already have learned the definitions of all the inbuilt-in functions. So here accordingly for this, with respect to string, length is the function. So answer is A, that is length. Length is the function, that is single row function with respect to strings. 10th one, the operation is used to combine the selected rows of two tables at a time. Here, options are A union, intersect, minus, and product. These are the different operations on relational database management system. So accordingly, answer is union. So what is the union? It is used to combine the selected rows of two tables at a time to it results in a new table. That is the function of union operation. In the next slide, the correct expansion form of HTTP means the full form of HTTP is, the options are hyperlink text transmit protocol, hyper transfer transmission protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, and hypermedia text transmit protocol. So the right answer is C, that is hypertext transfer protocol. 12th one, the network topology where data can be transmitted in only in one direction. Now we have learned the definition of topology and also different types of topology. So here options are star topology, ring topology, mesh and bus topology. So answer is bus topology. So in bus topology, the data is transmitted only in one direction, that is unidirectional. 13th one, the example for half duplex communication mode is radio, walkie-talkie, television, and telephone. Here we have learned in our theory classes different modes of communication. One is simplex mode of communication, half duplex, and full duplex. And here for half duplex, example is walkie-talkie. So walkie-talkie is an example for half duplex communication where communication can take place only in one direction at a time. That is walkie-talkie. Next one is 14th one. The communication protocol which establishes a dedicated and direct connection between two communicating devices. So here these are different protocols: TCP protocol, PPP, point to point, SMTP, and FTP. So here answer is C, PPP, point to point protocol. So which is going to establish a dedicated and direct connection between two communicating devices for data transmission. Next 15th one, the standalone program that are capable of working on its own. Options are worm, Trojan horse, ransomware, and spyware. So answer is worm. So this is a standalone program. Next, under part A, we have second main. So here this is the fill in the blanks. So here options are given. So we have to select the right options for this fill in the blanks. First one is the dash statement in Python used to test an expression in the program code. So here options are assert, raise, binary, max, record, and attribute, and insert. These are the options given. So answer for first one is the assert statement. The assert statement in Python used to test an expression in the program code. 17th one, dash is a file consists of data stored as a stream of bytes. So from this we can make out binary is here. So it's a binary file, it's a type of file where data is stored as a stream of bytes. Next one is each row of a table is called dash. So here options are assert, this is over, this also completed. Then answer is record. So what is a record in database? Each row in a table is referred as a record. 19th one, dash is a command which comes under DML, that is data manipulation language. So this command SQL, we have different types of commands. One of them is data manipulation language. So that is insert command. So this is insert. So this is an option for this. Next one is 20th. Dash is an aggregate function in SQL. So there are different types of built-in functions in SQL. So one of them is aggregate function. So here the options are max. So max is the right answer for this question number 20. That is, max is an example or it is an aggregate function in SQL. So this is part A, fill the blanks. Now let us move on to next section, that is part B. In this part B, there are 7 questions and you have to answer any 4. So what is the first question? So 21st question, what is prefix and postfix expression? See, this is we have learned with respect to the stack data structure. One of the application of data structure is stack data structure is prefix and postfix operation. So what is prefix expression? Definition is an operator precedes the operands. That is example is plus AB. So if you look at the example, plus is an operator and these two are A and B are operands. So here prefix means the operator precedes the operand. That is the definition of prefix. And postfix, an operator follows the operands, are called postfix expression. In this example, A, B are operands and plus is an operator. It is following this operands. That is why it is called as postfix expression. Next question. Write any 2 applications of queues in computer science. So with respect to computer science, so we have to list out different applications of queue. So first one is web server can handle many requests concurrently. That is one of the all the queries or all the requests are stored in the web server in the form of queue. So it execute the queues one by one. That is one of the applications. Next one is job scheduling in operating system and print server processing in the request. So this is print request. If there are more than 1 computers, so whichever the request goes to the printer first time, that will be executed. So these are all different applications of queues with respect to computer science. 23. What is collision situation and collision resolution in hashing? So you know what is hashing? It is one of the searching technology or one of the search algorithm. So what is the answer for this? What is a collision? When 2 elements map to the same slot in the hash table, it is called collision. So here with respect to hashing, we are going to prepare a hash table, and in the hash table, if there are same element mapped with the same slot, it is called as collision. Then what is collision resolution? So here the process of identifying a slot for second and further items in the hash table in the event of collision is called collision resolution. So this is a definition of collision and collision resolution. Next one is 24th. Write the rules which are imposed on attribute of the relation. So you know attribute is nothing but the columns in a table. So what are the rules to be followed or imposed? Here there are 2 rules. First one is each attribute in the relation has a unique name. So if I talk about attribute, this is nothing but column. So each column should be unique in a table. That is the first rule. Second one is sequence of attributes in the relation is immaterial. I mean, you need not to follow any of the sequence. You can write in any order. That is the second rule. So these are the 2 rules are imposed on attribute of a table. Next question is, give the difference between char and varchar data types in SQL. You know these are the 2 data types in SQL, and what is the difference between these 2? So here in character, so it is a fixed length, means it's a fixed length. Always use fixed number of bytes, even if the actual data is shorter. That is the feature of definition of character. And what is varchar or variable character? It is a variable length. It can be of any length and use only the required number of bytes plus 1 or 2 bytes for the length. This is the difference between character and varchar. 26. Mention any 2 network devices. Now we have learned in the chapter what is a computer network and types of computer network, topology and so on. Also we have discussed about network devices. So we have to mention any two network devices. They are modem, router, switch, hub, repeater. So any two we have to mention as an answer to this question number 26. 27. Define data and information. So you know what is a data? It's nothing but raw facts. Definition of data is a raw fact or before processing. So what is information? It is processed data. So data, process and information. It is a data processing cycle. Accordingly, data is raw fact before processing and information is after processing. The result is the result of processed data is nothing but information. Now let us see the next question. That is part C now. In part C, it is a 3 marks questions. And let us, the first question is 28th question. What is the need for exception handling? So here, students, in part C and part D and E are descriptive type questions. Here you cannot write a short answer for this, but you have to answer to the points by looking at the marks. Generally, 1 mark question and 2 mark question. Also, it is a short answer question. They may ask you for the definition and some examples. But in 3 marks question, you have to write little bit more as compared to 2 and 1 mark questions. Here, what is the need of exception handling? So here the definition is exception handling is needed to manage the runtime errors so that the normal flow of the program is not interrupted. It helps the program continue execution safely even when the unexpected errors occur. So this is what I've learned. What is an exception handling? What are exceptions? And if at all any errors in a Python programming here, as all of you know that the computer or the interpreter cannot complete the execution until the mistakes are corrected, until it is a error-free program. But in case, if at all, if I would like to continue in spite of errors in a program, then that the concept is called exception handling. So this is the answer for this exception handling. Next, 29th, explain any 3 file opening modes in data file handling. So the chapter is data file handling. In this, we have to write any 3 of the modes as an answer. So here there are first one is read mode. I am talking about R. R is the mode. It is a read mode. And definition of R mode, it opens a file for reading only. And the file must exist, otherwise it gives an error, because if you want to read data from a file, the file must be available in the particular directory or the path, otherwise it is an error. The file pointer is placed at the beginning of the file. So as soon as you write this, as soon as the interpreter comes across this statement, the pointer it at the beginning of the file. So this is R mode. Next one is W mode or write mode. So it opens a file for writing. R, it opens a file for reading only, and this is only for writing operation. If the file exists, its contents are erased, means it's going to overwrite with the existing data. Next one is if the file does not exist, it creates a new file. So this is the definition of W mode. Next one is A mode. It's called A stands for append mode. So it opens a file for appending a new data at the end. So if at all if you want to add few data to the existing file, then the same file has to be opened in append mode. So here it allows us to write the data from the end of the file. That is the definition of append mode. Does not remove existing content, and if the file does not exist, it creates the new one. So these are the answers for the question number 29. That is 3 different file opening modes in data file handling. Next one is 30th. That is define constant time algorithm, linear time algorithm, and quadratic time algorithm. Now let us see the answer for this. So here first, what is the constant time algorithm? An algorithm is said to have constant time if its execution time does not depend on the size of the input. It takes the same amount of time whether the input is smaller or large. Example is accessing an element in an array using its index. So this is a constant time algorithm. For the second one is an algorithm has a linear time if its execution time is increases in direct proportion to the input size. So in the constant time algorithm, irrespective of input, it going to process it. But in linear algorithm, it depends on the size of the input. If the input doubles, the time taken also roughly doubles. As and when the input or increases, the size of the input increases, time also increases. An example is traversing a list to find an element. This is an example. Next one is definition. An algorithm has quadratic time. Another type of algorithm. If the runtime is proportional to the square of the input size. So this is the definition of quadratic time algorithm. Now, algorithm, usually the occurs in algorithm with nested loops. Example is bubble sort, selection sort, nested loops, iterating over the same list. See, these are the example for quadratic time algorithm. Next question is 31st, that is write an algorithm to search an element using linear search method. See, what is a linear search method? Here we have to search for an element from the beginning of the list. So we have to compare the search element with all the elements from the beginning till the end of the list. So that is linear search. So accordingly the algorithm, it goes like this. One is start, read the list A. A is the name of the list, and element item to be searched. This is we have to read the element list A along with the search element. Now index, let I will be the 0 index. Repeat steps 5 to 6. These two steps has to be repeated number of time while I is less than n. So this is I is less than n. N will be the size of a list and I will be the 0. Means till from starting index till the end of the list, we have to keep repeating these steps. What is that? Here I am comparing A of I. In this example, A of 0 means I am comparing the first element with the item to be searched. Item is the element to be searched. If it is true, we have to print element is present and we have to note down its position, that is I. We have to stop execution to come out of this. Then step number 6, if the condition fails. If the condition fails, it goes to next step, that is set I equal to I plus 1. We are incrementing this variable I here. So these two are repeated till from 0 index till the end of the list. And if the loop ends, print item not found and stop. So if the 5 and 6, it completes this iteration, then if the element is not found, then it goes to this step, that is, if the loop ends, print item not found and stop. See, this is an algorithm for linear search method. Next question, briefly explain the database schema, database constraint and data manipulation. We have to write the definition for all these things with example. So first of all, what is database schema? It is the structure or blueprint of the database. See, what is schema? Database schema is nothing but the structure of the table. This is what you can see when you are using the command describe or DESC. Then it gives the output, that is nothing but the structure of the table. So it defines how data is organized and how different tables are related. It includes tables and their names, fields, nothing but columns and data types, either primary key or foreign keys, and relationship between tables. If there are more than one tables, it also describes the relationship between the two tables. That is database schema. This is an example here. A student database schema may include table like student. The table itself is a schema, and course and marks. These are the number of columns. So this is database schema. Next definition is data constraints. What data constraints? Are the rules applied to database columns to ensure the accuracy, validity, and consistency of the data. So data constraints are nothing but a rules to be followed or rules to be applied to a particular column for data accuracy and data validity and data consistency. That is database schema. An example for, we have different types of database constraints: primary key constraints, foreign key constraints, unique constraints, not null constraints, as well as check constraints. See, these are definition of all different types of constraints. Now let us see, next definition is data manipulation. What is data manipulation? It refers to operations used to retrieve the data, insert the data, update or delete the data in a database. See, these are different operations can be performed on a table in a database. So these operations are nothing but data manipulation. This is retrieve means to select the data, select the records in a data table, and this is to inserting a new record into a table, update the values in a table, and have delete the data in a database. These are different operations comes under data manipulation. And here we have different commands for this: select command, insert command, update command, and delete command. These are all the DML command or data manipulation language commands. Next question is, explain the different math single row functions in SQL. As we have seen in the MCQ, we had one question that is aggregate function. So now we have math single row function in SQL. So let us see, one of them is power x comma y. So definition is calculate x to the power of y or x raised to the power of y. It can also be written as POW x comma y. For example, MySQL is a prompt. Here we say select power 2 comma 3. So output, this is 2 to the power of 3, that is 8. 8 is the output. And next function is round function, that is n comma d. Rounds of number n to d number of decimal places. Here d stands for number of decimal places, n stands for number given. So here select round. For example, 2912 comma 564 comma 1, and here output is 2912.6. This is point. So this is the output. So this is the round function. One more function is mod function, mod of a comma b. It returns the remainder after dividing the number a by number b. So divide the number a divided by b, it gives the remainder. For example, mod of 21 comma 2. Here 21 divided by 2, quotient is 10, remainder is 1, so output is 1. So this is the definition of mod function. Next question is 34th question, that is write a note on local area network. So this is the chapter computer networks, and there we have discussed about different types of networks, that is LAN, WAN, MAN and all. So here the question is, we have to explain along with the diagram. So here we have to explain the local area network. So what is local area network? Is a computer network that connects devices within a small and limited geographical area, such as home, school, office building, and computer laboratory. It allows computers and other devices to communicate, share files, resources, and services. Actually, the definition of LAN is nothing but local area network. It is nothing but a computer network within a small area or within a limited geographical area. Example for this, we can talk about a small office in a building or a computer laboratory with limited number of computers, where you can see the difference between, where you can see the distance between two computers. Here in all the examples, the distance between two computers or computing devices are minimum, maybe in terms of meter. That's the definition of local area network. And what are the features for this? Here it is a small coverage area, that is the nothing but with limited geographical area. High data transfer speed. So in LAN, it supports high data transfer speed, low installation and maintenance cost, and privately owned and managed. So it can be in a private network, it can be a private network, and connects devices like computers, printers, servers, switches, and router. So different computing devices or network devices can be connected along with the computers to form a local area network. It is restricted for a small geographical area. Dear students, see, so far we discussed the model question paper. Under that, we have covered the section part C, and remaining sections part D and C we will discuss in our next session. Thank you very much.